On Maui, we say Maui no ko'oi, which means there's no place like Maui. But can people actually live here? Many say no. In the past few years, rent on Maui has been skyrocketing, and many people are leaving their apartments and just choosing to become homeless. What's going on with the price of rent on Maui? We'll find out today on the Maui Liberty Network.
They're cutting up the Constitution. Well, you know.
Is rent going up on Maui?
Yeah, it's really going up. I have lived here for almost 20 years, and when I first moved here, it was $425 for a little, like 500 square foot studio. Now I think that same studio is maybe $1,200. I think might have some experience with that.
Rent's definitely going up, but is that just inflation, or do you think there's something else at work?
I don't know. I think
sure?
that the cost, I want to blame it on my evil, greedy landlady, but I do know that her costs have also gone up.
Prices are rising all over Maui when it comes to rent, and a lot of people say it's because of those greedy landlords. Well, we've got a greedy landlord here. Her name is Marty Foyt. Is that the reason that rent's raising, do you think?
I don't
think
so. A lot of landlords are just working people. They, for some reason, got to be a landlord. And I always thought years ago landlords were people that, gosh, you own a rental property? Wow, you must have money. No, you just got into a circumstance where you got to have a home that you could then move out of and rent.
So landlords are people too,
Yes,
and the reason rents are going up, not just because of the landlords, but the system.
The system.
Right, the system. We talked to a bunch of people who really understand the system. Peter Martin is a developer at West Maui Land, and Dave DeLeon is the Government Affairs Director for the Realtors Association of Maui. I was looking on the internet for a place to rent recently, and I was on Craigslist, and I was looking, and there it just seems like instead of listings for places to rent, there's complaints about how high prices are. Prices are so high, greedy landlords, and it just seems like this is a big problem on Maui.
It's a huge problem.
Is this all just inflation, or are prices going up faster than normal? What's going on in prices?
We're in an up cycle. Housing happens in a cycle. It goes up and it goes down. It goes around and around, and then continuing motion like this. And we're on an upswing. And until it starts swinging back down again, the prices aren't going to go down much at all.
Of course, part of the problem is it's a supply and demand issue, and whenever you have an especially nice place, it'll be rationed by price because it's just a function of how many people want to live here.
Supply is low,
right?
Demand's high.
Would it be easy to increase supply here? Yes, except for because of government, it's not. But if it wasn't for government, getting in the way.
How does government get in the way?
Well, a simple example is just an example, and I think that's the best way. In Maui and in many other places, there's tremendous amount of regulation.
I mean, you go to try to build or do anything with housing, you run up against government regulations and barriers and requirements and who's going to build it and how it's going to be built and all that sort of thing. A lot of mine matters of safety, but most all of this is intended to protect the real estate market. They limit the land use here to 5% of the land for all commercial and residential use. And that means, for conservation and agriculture, they do fine in the state in terms of the amount of land that they have. But for living, for people who need homes, housing prices are extraordinarily expensive, among the highest in the country. And they say it's a shortage of land. No, it's a shortage of zoned land, where they're allowed to use it for housing.
We've gotten it down now, so there's like 6 layers of land use control in the state.
In other words, a lot.
I mean, 6 layers, so you got to get through the State Land Use Commission, you got to get through the Maui Island Plan, you got to get through the Community Plan, you got to get through zoning, you got to get through SMA. If you're in the historic district, you got to get through the historic district. These are all different individual layers with individual requirements, And if you start with agricultural land, raw agricultural land, you're talking 10 years just to get through that process.
So you're saying it takes 10. It can take 10 years for someone who wants to build something on their land, if it's a raw piece of agricultural land, to build something.
Yeah, that raw land might be worth $20,000 to start. After all the entitlements are in place, it's $1 million.
We've owned the Olawala property now for 16 years, and we haven't been able to change the zoning at all. We love this property. We've been able to do a small amount of development here under the existing zoning, but our one great attempt at affordable housing was the Puanoa affordable housing, and it was very painful. Over $1 million, I believe, we lost, and it was turned down. It was, I thought, a great project.
This is affordable housing for people.
Yes, it was. I don't know if you were here. It was right across from Puamana condominiums. It was around 250 units.
But part of the struggle to get that approved was all the regulations, which made it really difficult.
Right. That one became a real battle.
A real battle. All because of all the laws and regulations. Let's take another look at the 6 layers of government bureaucracy in land.
You're right.